The auction hall buzzed with noise. Most people were leaving. The big items had already been sold. Only the junk remained. Captain Jum Kim stayed in his seat, his eyes fixed on the last item. It was a ship, old and broken. The hologram showed its rusted hull and damaged parts. Next up, Lot 127, a derelict vessel of unknown origin. Salvage rights only. Opening bid at 500 credits. The room fell silent. No one raised their hand. No one wanted it. 300 credits. The auctioneer tried again. Jun raised his hand. 300. The auctioneer looked surprised. Sold to the human in the back. Please collect your ownership chip at the desk. As June walked to the payment desk, 2 Federation officials laughed nearby. Another human wasting credits on trash. One said. The other nodded. They never learned their place. June ignored them. Humans were still new to the Galactic Federation. Most alien species looked down on them. Humans were seen as primitive, as lesser beings. At the desk, a board clerk pushed the ownership chip toward him. You know that ship is just taking up dock space, right? The Federation was going to pay someone to haul it away. June pocketed the chip. Then I just saved the Federation some money. What could you possibly want with that junk heap? The clerk asked. June smiled slightly. I see potential where others see junk. The dock was in the far corner of the station. Far from the shiny Federation ships. This was where they kept the forgotten things. His 3 crew members waited by the airlock. They watched as June approached. Please tell me you didn't buy it, Hannah Park said. The ship's engineer crossed her arms. Ta Li, weapons specialist and old military friend, just shook his head. You did, didn't you? The youngest crew member, Minho Song, bounced on his heels. Unlike the others, he looked excited. Can I see it? Can I see what's inside? June held up the ownership chip. Meet our new home. Hannah groaned. Captain, with all respect, that thing is barely holding together. The life support systems probably don't even work. That's why I have the best engineer in the sector, Jun said. Ta walked around the ship's exterior. I don't even recognize the design. It's not Federation, not Krell, not anything I've seen before. The auction listing said it was found drifting in the outer rim. They think it's from the architects. Everyone fell silent. The architects were a mystery, an ancient alien race, now gone. They had left behind amazing technology that no one fully understood. Most of their ships and stations had been destroyed in the last Great War. Anything connected to them was valuable. If this was really architect tech, the Federation would never let it go for 300 credits, Hannah said. They don't know what they have. June walked to the airlock. And neither do we, until we look inside. The inside of the ship was dark. Their flashlights showed dusty corridors and rooms filled with strange machinery. The air was stale but breathable. Basic life support is working somehow, Hannah said, checking her scanner. Power levels are minimal, but the core systems are intact. They made their way to what looked like a bridge. The control panels were covered in dust. Strange symbols marked the screens. I've never seen writing like this, Ta said, wiping a panel. Minho pushed forward, his eyes wide with excitement. These interfaces are incredible. He ran his fingers over a console. To everyone's surprise, it lit up faintly at his touch. How did you do that? June asked. Minho shook his head. I don't know. I just touched it. Hannah moved to another section of the bridge. Captain, look at this. She pointed to what appeared to be damage on a wall panel. This isn't just age. This is weapons fire. From the inside. Someone tried to destroy the ship from within, Tai asked. Or they tried to stop it from falling into enemy hands, Jun said. They spent hours exploring. Each room revealed more mysteries. Parts that seemed broken began to power up as they passed. Lights flickered on and then dimmed again, as if the ship was waking up and then falling back asleep. In what seemed to be an engine room, Hannah made a discovery. "Captain, you need to see this." She pointed to a small device connected to the main power core. "This is deliberately limiting the power flow. Someone intentionally put the ship into a low-power state." "Can you bypass it?" June asked. "I shouldn't. Not until we understand the systems better. But yes, I could." Minho called from another section. "I found something else." They followed his voice to a small room off the main corridor. Inside was a sphere about the size of a human head, suspended in a field of soft blue light. "What is it?" June asked. "I think." Minho hesitated. "I think it might be an AI core." Ta backed up. "Federation law prohibits unlicensed AI systems." "We're not Federation military anymore," Jun reminded him. "And this ship predates those laws by thousands of years." Minho circled the sphere. "The design is unlike anything in Federation databases. If this is architect technology, it could be incredibly valuable. Or incredibly dangerous," Hannah warned. June considered their options. Minimal power only, just enough to run diagnostics. Nothing more until we know what we're dealing with. Hannah carefully adjusted the power flow. The blue light around the sphere grew brighter. Strange symbols appeared on its surface, rotating slowly. "It's activating," Minho whispered. They all stepped back as the light pulsed. Then, to their shock, the symbols rearranged themselves into readable text. That's human language," Ta said in disbelief. "How is that possible?" The words were simple. "Neural interface detected. Human patterns recognized. Initiating primary protocols." "It recognizes us as human?" Hannah asked. "Not just that," Minho said, his voice filled with awe. "It's adapting to us, changing its language to match ours." The sphere pulsed again. A soft voice filled the room. It wasn't mechanical like Federation AIs. It sounded almost natural. "Welcome, human users. This vessel has awaited compatible neural patterns for activation. Preliminary connection established." June stepped forward. "Who created you?" "This information is restricted until full activation and security protocols are satisfied." The voice paused. "However, this unit can confirm this vessel was designed to bond with human neural patterns specifically." The 4 crew members looked at each other in shock. "That's impossible," Ta said. "The architects existed long before humans left Earth. How could they design something for us?" The sphere dimmed slightly. "Power reserves at 12%. Further interaction limited. Please restore primary systems for continued operation." June turned to his crew. "Hannah, what would it take to get more power to the core systems without compromising safety?" She thought for a moment. "We'd need to understand the power distribution better. I might be able to route emergency power, but it would take time." "Do it," June ordered. "Minho, see what else you can learn about this interface. Ta, secure the perimeter. I don't want any unexpected visitors until we know what we have here." As his crew moved to their tasks, Jun stayed in the room with the sphere. He reached out and almost touched it, stopping just short of its surface. "What are you?" he whispered. "And why were you waiting for us?" The sphere pulsed once more, very faintly. "You will understand. In time." 3 days later, Jun stood on the dock looking at his ship. Federation dock workers passed by, still laughing at the junk heap and the foolish humans who bought it. But Jun knew better now. Beneath the rusted exterior, systems were slowly coming to life. Hannah had managed to restore power to several sections. Minho had made progress understanding the interface. Even Tai had found what appeared to be weapon systems, dormant but intact. The ship wasn't junk. It was something else entirely. Something that had been waiting. For humans specifically. "Why do you keep staring at it?" Hannah asked, joining him on the dock. "I'm trying to see beyond what it appears to be," Jun said. "I think that's the point. This ship doesn't want to be noticed. Not yet." "Ships don't want things, Captain," Hannah said, but her voice lacked conviction. "This one might." Jun turned to her. The AI responded to us. It was designed for human neural patterns. That can't be a coincidence. So what do we do now? June looked back at the ship. We learn, we restore, and we keep this quiet until we understand what we found. In the distance, a Federation announcement echoed through the station. Reports of Krell Empire ships moving toward human colonies. The Federation's response was minimal, as always. And then, Hannah asked, "Then we find out what this ship can really do," Jun said. "Because I think we're going to need it." 3 months passed. The ship no longer looked like junk. Hannah Park wiped sweat from her forehead as she connected power lines under a console. The lights in the bridge glowed stronger now. The once dead screens showed data in crisp, clear symbols. "I still don't understand how this works," she said to Minho, who sat cross-legged on the floor nearby. He had wires running from a tablet to the sphere they now call the core. "That makes 2 of us," Minho replied. "The technology changes every day. Yesterday I fixed a broken panel. Today it looks different. Better. Like it fixed itself again overnight." Captain Jun entered the bridge. He looked tired but pleased. "Ta found something in the lower section. You both should see this." They followed him down 3 levels. The ship was bigger inside than it looked from the outside. Many rooms had been hidden behind false walls or sealed doors that opened only after power was restored. Ta stood in a large round room. The walls were lined with tubes and strange devices. "Watch this," Ta said. He touched a panel. The floor in the center of the room opened. A platform rose up. On it sat what looked like a suit of armor. "Is that for a human?" Hannah asked. Ta nodded. "Perfect human size. Not too big, not too small. Just right." Minho circled the armor. "This isn't just armor. These connections here," he pointed to ports along the spine, "they're meant to link with the ship somehow. There are 12 more rooms like this," Ta said, "all with different equipment, all human-sized." June touched the armor. It felt warm, almost alive. This ship wasn't just made to be controlled by humans. It was made to connect with us, to bond with us. A soft chime sounded. The core's voice came through the ship's speakers. Neural Integration Suite activated. Phase 2 systems now available. Back on the bridge, they found new screens had turned on. New doors had opened. "This ship is evolving," Hannah said in awe. "It's growing with us, learning from us." Minho nodded eagerly. "It's adaptive technology. The more we use it, the more it changes to fit our needs." "But why?" Tai asked. "Why would the architects build a ship specifically for humans? We weren't even in space when they existed." Jun had no answer. The mystery only grew deeper each day. That night, as they ate dinner in what had become their mess hall, Hannah laid out her latest discovery. "I've been mapping the ship's systems," she said, showing a diagram on her tablet. "At first, I thought it was a transport vessel, maybe a science ship, but I was wrong." She highlighted several sections. "These aren't cargo holds or labs. They're weapons bays, massive ones." Tad leaned forward. "Weapons? What kind?" "I don't know yet. They're dormant, but the power pathways are huge." Hannah looked up at them. "This isn't just a ship. It's a weapons platform disguised as junk." Silence fell over the table. "The architects were hiding it," Jun said slowly, "making it look worthless so no one would take it. Until the right people came along," Minho added. Their meal was interrupted by an alert from Jun's personal communicator. He read the message, his face growing grim. Federation News Bulletin. "The Krell Empire attacked another human mining outpost. 37 dead. The Federation has issued a formal protest." "A protest," Ta spat the word. "That's all they ever do. Humans die, and they send strongly worded messages. The Krell know the Federation won't risk war to protect human colonies," Hannah said bitterly. "We're not valuable enough." Jun stood up. "Get some rest. Tomorrow we push harder. I want to know everything this ship can do." 2 weeks later, a breakthrough came. Minho had managed to access more of the core's functions. The ship's true purpose became clearer. "It's called the Guardian," Minho explained as they gathered on the bridge. "It was created in the final days of the architect civilization. They knew they were losing their war. They wouldn't survive." The main screen showed data flowing too fast to read. The core translated. The architects studied many species. They found humans to be uniquely adaptable, creative under pressure. They believed humans would face the same enemy they faced, so they created ships like this one, hidden throughout the galaxy, disguised as junk, waiting for humans to find them. "What enemy?" June asked. "The Krell." The core's answer was interrupted by an emergency alert, a distress signal coming from a small human colony on the edge of Federation space. "Krell raiders," Tay reported, reading the signal. "3 ships. The colony has no defenses." June looked at his crew. "The Federation won't get there in time." "The Guardian isn't fully functional," Hannah warned. "We've barely scratched the surface of its systems." "How far to the colony?" June asked. 6 hours at maximum speed, Ta said. "Can we get weapons online?" June turned to Hannah. She hesitated. "Maybe. Some of them. But we'd be going against Krell warships and breaking Federation law by engaging in unauthorized combat." June made his decision. "Set course for the colony. Prepare all functional systems. We're going to help those people." 5 hours later, the Guardian dropped out of faster-than-light travel near the colony world of Haven. The sight that greeted them was worse than expected. 3 sleek Krell ships orbited the small planet. The main settlement was in flames. Krell landing craft shuttled between the surface and the ships, taking whatever they wanted: resources, technology, and sometimes people. "They're not just raiding," Ta said grimly. "They're harvesting." On the bridge, the crew prepared for battle. None of them had ever engaged in actual space combat. They had trained in simulations, but this was real. "The colony's defense station is still transmitting," Minho reported. "There are survivors taking shelter there." "The Krell have noticed us," Hannah said. "One ship is breaking orbit, coming our way." June sat in the captain's chair. It had changed shape over the weeks, molding to his body perfectly. Now it glowed with soft blue light. "Weapons status. 2 main weapons systems online," Hannah replied. "But we've never tested them." The Krell ship grew larger on the screen. It was twice their size, bristling with visible weapons. "They're hailing us," Minho said. June nodded. "Put them through." A harsh voice filled the bridge. The Krell spoke broken Federation standard. "Human ship. This territory claimed by Krell Empire. Leave now or be destroyed." "This is a Federation colony," Jun replied calmly. "You are conducting an illegal raid on civilians. Withdraw your forces immediately." The Krell laughed. "Humans have no protection here. Federation does not care about human lives." "Then we'll protect our own," Jun said. He cut the transmission. The Krell ship fired a warning shot. Energy blazed past the Guardian's bow. "They're powering up main weapons," Tay reported. June placed his hands on the control panels. "Target their weapon systems. Minimal force." "Firing solutions ready," Hannah said. What happened next shocked them all. The Guardian moved faster than any ship its size should be able to. It darted past the Krell vessel, firing precise beams that cut through the enemy's weapon mounts. It wasn't just the weapons that surprised them. The ship itself seemed to know what to do. Controls responded before they fully pressed them. Screens showed data they needed before they asked for it. The Krell ship turned sluggishly, trying to track them. The Guardian danced around it, firing again and again with surgical precision. "This is incredible," Hannah whispered. "The ship is helping us." In less than 5 minutes, the Krell ship was disabled, drifting powerless. The other 2 Krell vessels quickly broke orbit, abandoning their raid. On the colony below, Cheers erupted as people watched the battle from the ground. June felt the chair beneath him pulse with energy. The ship had done what it was made to do, protected humans from a threat, and it had done it with ease. "Contact the colony," he ordered Minho. "Tell them we're sending help." As they began rescue operations, a Federation cruiser appeared at the edge of the system. Too late, as usual. Its captain demanded an explanation. "This is Captain Orcs of the Federation Security Force. Identify yourself and explain the use of unauthorized weapons in Federation space." Jun answered calmly. "This is Captain Jum Kim of the independent vessel Guardian. We responded to a distress call that the Federation ignored. Again. Your actions violate Federation law," Captain Lorix replied coldly. "You will power down all systems and prepare to be boarded for inspection." June looked at his crew. They all nodded. "I'm afraid that won't be possible," Jun said. "If the Federation won't protect human colonies, we will." He cut the transmission as Federation warnings continued. The Guardian's engines hummed to life. "Where to, Captain?" Tai asked. June studied the star map. There are 12 more human colonies in this sector alone, all with minimal Federation protection. He felt the ship respond to his thoughts, almost before he voiced them. "The Guardian was built to protect humanity," he said. "It's time we did exactly that." 2 months passed. The Guardian was no longer just a ship. It was a symbol. On the bridge, Jun studied reports from across human space. 12 colonies saved. 33 Krell ships defeated. Countless lives protected. "Another Federation alert," Ta said, checking the communications. "They've raised the bounty on us again. 2 million credits now." Hannah laughed without humor. "Funny how they find money for bounties but not for protecting our colonies." Minho entered the bridge, his face bright with excitement. "Captain, you need to see this." He pulled up a holographic display showing messages from across human space. They were from colonists, miners, traders, ordinary humans living on the edge of Federation territory, all sending thanks, many offering support, some asking to join their crew. "They're calling us heroes," Minho said. "The Federation is calling us pirates," Jun reminded him. "They also call us primitives," Ta said. "That doesn't make it true." The ship had changed dramatically. Its systems were now fully awake. The once rusty hull had repaired itself, revealing a sleek, dark surface that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. Even the name had changed. After their third battle, when they survived an attack that should have destroyed them, Hannah had suggested a new name. "Phoenix," she'd said, because it rose from the ashes. The name fit perfectly. Painted in simple white letters across the bow, it replaced the heap that Federation dock workers had mockingly written there. "New intelligence," Tay reported, interrupting June's thoughts. "The Krell are gathering a fleet. Not just raiders this time. Warships." June studied the data. "They're targeting New Sol Colony." "It's a trap," Hannah said. "They know we'll come." "Of course it's a trap," June agreed. "But we still have to go." New Sol was the largest human colony in the sector, home to over 30,000 people. If it fell, the others would follow. "Set course," June ordered, "and contact our allies." Over the weeks of fighting, they had gained unexpected friends. A small group of human ships, mostly retrofitted cargo vessels and mining craft, had joined their cause. A few alien captains, too, those who disagreed with Federation policies or held grudges against the Krell. Together, they called themselves the Guardian Fleet. Small, outgunned, but determined. The Phoenix dropped out of faster-than-light travel at the edge of the New Sol system. The sight was worse than expected. 5 large Krell warships circled the colony planet. Between them flew dozens of smaller fighter craft. This wasn't a raid. It was an invasion force. "Federation presence?" June asked. "1 cruiser," Tay replied. "Already damaged and retreating." "Our allies?" 8 ships responding. ETA 20 minutes. That would be too late for the colony. The Krell were already landing troops. We have to buy time, Jun decided. Minho, open a channel to the Krell command ship. The main screen lit up with the face of a Krell commander. Their scaled skin was dark gray, eyes glowing red. The famous human ship, the Krell said. We knew you would come. Today you die. This colony is under our protection, Jun replied calmly. Withdraw your forces. The Krell laughed. Your ship has caused much trouble. Our masters are displeased. Jun caught the word. Masters. The Krell Empire answers to no one. The commander hissed. You know nothing, human. The transmission cut off abruptly. They're launching fighters, Todd warned. All ships targeting us. Jun settled into his captain's chair. Over these months, the neural link between him and the ship had grown stronger. He could feel the Phoenix's systems as if they were extensions of his own body. Evasive maneuvers. Defensive systems only. We need to draw them away from the colony. The Phoenix moved with impossible grace. It darted between enemy ships, drawing their fire. Each hit against their shields made Jun wince. He could feel the ship's pain as his own. Shields at 70%. Hana called out. We can't take on the whole fleet alone. We don't need to, Jun said. We just need time. For 10 minutes, they played a dangerous game of cat and mouse. The Phoenix danced around the Krell ships, leading them away from the colony, taking hits but giving none. Then alarms blared across the bridge. New contact, Ta shouted. Massive ship entering the system. The object that appeared dwarfed even the Krell warships. Black and angular, it radiated menace. That's not Krell, Hana whispered. That's not Federation either. The Corps' voice echoed through the bridge. Warning, Void Shaper vessel detected. The word sent a chill through the crew. Void Shapers, Jun asked. The Corps' response was immediate. Ancient enemy of the architects. Destroyers of worlds. Masters of the Krell. On the screen, the Krell ships were changing formation, moving to flank the new arrival. Not as enemies, but as escorts. The Krell are their puppets, Tay realized. They always have been. Minho was working frantically at his console. The Corps just unlocked new data. The architects, they didn't just die out. They were wiped out by the Void Shapers. Alarms blared again. The massive black ship was charging weapons, not aimed at the Phoenix, but at New Sol Colony. We have to stop them, Jun said. He placed his hands on the control panels. All weapons. Target the Void Shaper ship. Hana looked at him in shock. Captain, we can't take on something that size. We have to try. The Phoenix turned, diving toward the enormous vessel. For the first time, Jun activated all weapon systems simultaneously. Energy beams lanced out, striking the black hull. The Void Shaper ship seemed barely to notice. It continued charging its main weapon. No effect, Tay reported grimly. Jun felt a strange sensation through his neural link. The Phoenix was trying to tell him something, trying to show him. Minho, full connection to the core. Now. Minho understood immediately. He activated the neural interface they had been developing. Suddenly, Jun's mind was flooded with information. Images. Knowledge. He saw the architects, tall, graceful beings with too many limbs. He saw their war with the Void Shapers. He saw their defeat. And he saw what the Phoenix was truly built for. I know what to do, Jun said, his voice distant. Through the neural link, he sent commands directly to the ship's systems. The Phoenix began to change. Panels shifted. Hidden systems activated. The hull itself seemed to ripple with energy. What's happening? Hana asked. The ship is revealing its true form, Jun said. On his mental command, the Phoenix's outer hull peeled away, revealing a gleaming surface beneath. Weapons ports opened all along its length. The engine core pulsed with blinding light. This was no junk ship. This was the pinnacle of architect technology. A weapon built to fight the Void Shapers. disguised for centuries, waiting for the right moment, the right crew. The Void Shaper ship's weapon reached full charge. It fired at the colony. But the beam never reached its target. The Phoenix moved with impossible speed, placing itself between the beam and the planet. A shield unlike any they had used before expanded from the ship, absorbing the massive energy blast. Now, Jum commanded, "Fire everything." The Phoenix released its full arsenal. Beams of pure white energy cut through space. They struck the Void Shaper ship with precision, targeting points that Jum somehow knew were vital. The massive vessel shuddered. Secondary explosions rippled across its surface. "It's working," Ta shouted in disbelief. The Krell ships broke formation, confused by the unexpected resistance. Some fled. Others turned their weapons on the Phoenix. At that moment, the Guardian fleet arrived. 8 ships, small and outgunned, but determined. They engaged the Krell warships, drawing them away. "The Corps is sending data to our allies," Minho reported, amazed. "It's showing them how to fight the Krell ships." The battle turned. The Phoenix continued its assault on the Void Shaper vessel, each shot more precise than the last. Finally, a massive explosion tore through the enemy ship's center. It began to break apart, splitting into segments that drifted away from each other. "They're retreating," Hannah called out. The Void Shaper ship, critically damaged, opened a swirling portal in space. It limped through, disappearing from the system. The remaining Krell ships followed, abandoning their invasion. On the bridge, Jum slumped in his chair. The neural connection had drained him, but through it he had glimpsed the truth. "They're coming back," he said quietly, "and they won't be alone." The crew gathered around him as he shared what he had learned. The Void Shapers hadn't just destroyed the Architects. They consumed whole civilizations, whole galaxies. The Krell were just one of many species they had enslaved. The Phoenix was built as a last hope, Jun explained. One of many ships hidden throughout the galaxy, waiting for a species with the right qualities to find them. "Why humans?" Hannah asked. "Because we're adaptable. Because we see value in things others discard." Jun looked at each of his crew. "Because we never give up." As they helped New Sol's colonists rebuild, news spread quickly. Transmissions from all over human space poured in. The truth about the Void Shapers, the connection to the Krell, the real threat facing not just humanity, but all life in the galaxy. And word of a junk ship that had become the most advanced warship ever seen. 1 month after the battle at New Sol, the Phoenix docked at Freedom Station. Once a small mining outpost, it had become the headquarters for the growing Guardian fleet. Captain Jun Kim walked through crowded corridors. People nodded respectfully as he passed. Some reached out to touch his arm or shoulder, to thank him, the man who found a piece of junk and turned it into humanity's shield. In the main command center, his crew waited with the captains of 37 ships. Some were human. Others were aliens who had broken with the Federation. All were prepared to fight. "The Void Shapers are gathering their forces," Jun said, addressing the room. "Our scouts report a fleet of over 50 ships heading toward human space." Displays showed the enemy fleet. At its center was a massive vessel 3 times the size of the one they had damaged at New Sol. "That's a dreadnought," Tai explained. "The Void Shaper's most powerful warship." Minho stepped forward. His connection to the Phoenix's core had grown stronger. Now he wore a slim neural interface behind his ear, letting him access the ship's knowledge at all times. "The core has shared new information," Minho said. "The Void Shapers aren't just conquerors. They're harvesters. They consume worlds, turn populations into slaves or worse." "What about the Federation?" asked Captain Lena, one of the first to join their fleet. "Will they help?" "They're divided," Hannah replied. "Some council members want to fight. Others think they can make a deal with the Void Shapers." Jun pointed to a star map. "The enemy fleet will reach this system in 3 days. Junction point. It's the gateway to all human colonies. If it falls, they all fall. "37 ships against 50, Captain Lena said. "Not good odds." "We don't need good odds," Jun replied. "We just need to fight smart." He revealed his plan. The Phoenix would lead the battle. The other ships would form a defensive line. Not to win, but to buy time. Time for what? Someone asked. Jun looked at Minho. The young tech officer nodded. "Time for the Phoenix to share its gifts," Jun said. The plan was risky. During the weeks after New Seoul, Minho and Hannah had made a discovery. The Phoenix's adaptive technology could connect with other ships, share its power, its knowledge. It won't make them as strong as the Phoenix, Hannah had explained, but it will give them a fighting chance. Now, as they prepared for battle, engineers worked to install special nodes on each Allied ship, small pieces of the Phoenix's technology, connections to its core. Jun spent hours in the ship's heart, where the core pulsed with blue light. Through the neural link, he spoke directly to the vessel that had become more than a machine, more like a friend. "Can we really do this?" he asked. The core's response flowed through his mind. Not just words, but images, feelings, the architect's last hope. Their legacy preserved in this ship, waiting centuries for the right allies. "Why humans?" Jun asked again. "Out of all the species in the galaxy, why us?" The answer came in a flood of images. Humans building cities from rubble, turning scrap into tools, finding value in what others discarded, adapting, surviving, never giving up. The architects had watched Earth for generations, seen humans rise from nothing, fight against impossible odds. They recognized something of themselves in humans, and something more, a resilience they themselves had lost. "We won't let you down," Jun promised. Junction Point System, Day 3. The Guardian fleet formed a half-circle near the system's jump gate. 37 ships of various sizes and designs. At their center, the Phoenix gleamed with inner light. On each ship, crews worked with new systems they barely understood. Technology that days ago would have seemed like magic. "Enemy fleet detected," Tai announced on the Phoenix's bridge. 52 ships, Void Shaper Dreadnought in the center. Jun took a deep breath. "Open a channel to all ships." When the connection was ready, he spoke calmly. "This is Captain Jun Kim. Today we face an enemy that has destroyed entire civilizations. The Void Shapers think we are weak, that we will break easily. They're wrong. Humanity has always been underestimated, called primitive, called lesser. Yet here we stand. We found value in what others called junk. We built a fleet from scraps. And today we will show the galaxy what humans can do." He looked at his crew, Hannah, the engineer who had unlocked the Phoenix's secrets, Tai, the weapons officer who had given their allies a fighting chance, Minho, whose connection to the core had revealed the truth about their enemy. For Earth, for all free people, Guardian Fleet, engage. The Void Shaper fleet advanced. Their black ships moved in perfect formation, weapons charged. "Now, Minho," Jun ordered. Minho placed his hands on a glowing panel. Through his neural link, he sent a signal to all Allied ships. The Phoenix's core activated connections across the fleet. Suddenly, every ship glowed with the same blue light. Energy flowed between them, creating a network. "It's working," Hannah exclaimed. The Void Shapers fired first. Energy beams raced toward the Guardian fleet. But instead of striking individual ships, the beams hit a shared shield. The Phoenix's defense system now extended across all their allies. "Return fire," Jun commanded. The Guardian fleet responded as one. Their weapons, enhanced by the Phoenix's technology, struck with precision. 3 enemy ships fell in the first volley. The Void Shaper Dreadnought moved forward. It fired its main weapon. A beam of terrible power cut through space. The Phoenix moved to intercept, taking the full force of the blast. The ship shuddered. On the bridge, screens flickered. "Shield down to 40%, Tai reported. We can't take another hit like that. Through the neural link, Jun felt the Phoenix's pain, but also its determination. The ship had been built for this moment, to stand against the darkness. All ships follow attack pattern Alpha, Jun ordered. The Guardian fleet split into 3 groups. They circled the enemy formation, firing from multiple angles. The Void Shapers tried to adjust, but their perfect formation became their weakness. They couldn't adapt quickly enough. More enemy ships fell, but the Dreadnought remained untouched, protected by its escorts. On the Phoenix's bridge, warning alarms sounded. The Dreadnought is charging its main weapon again, Hana warned. We won't survive another direct hit. Jun made a decision. Plot a course directly for the Dreadnought. Maximum speed. His crew looked at him in shock. Captain, that's suicide, Ta protested. Trust me, Jun said. Through the neural link, he had seen something. A memory from the architects. The Dreadnought's one weakness. The Phoenix broke from formation. It raced toward the massive enemy ship, dodging fire from escort vessels. When I give the word, Jun told Hana, divert all power to the core. The Dreadnought grew larger on their screens. Its weapon port glowed with gathering energy. Now, Jun shouted. Hana redirected all power. The Phoenix's engines, weapons, even life support, everything fed into the core. The ship pulsed with blinding light. Through the neural link, Jun sent a simple command. Reveal your true purpose. The Phoenix transformed one final time. Its hull shifted, opening like a flower in bloom. At its center, the core rose up, exposed to space. It released a wave of pure energy. The wave struck the Dreadnought as it fired. But instead of damaging the enemy ship, it did something unexpected. It passed through it, connected with it. On the bridge screens, they saw the Dreadnought's crew, the true Void Shapers, tall, skeletal beings with too many eyes. Their faces showed something humans rarely saw in their enemies. Fear. The Phoenix's energy wave interfaced with the Dreadnought's systems. Just as it had shared its power with the Guardian fleet, now it forced a connection with the enemy. What's happening? Tai asked. The Phoenix is doing what the architects designed it to do, Minho replied, his eyes wide with understanding. It's not just a weapon. It's a shield. A neutralizer. The Dreadnought's weapon went dark. Its engines failed. Systems throughout the massive ship shut down. Across the battlefield, the Void Shaper fleet faltered. Some ships tried to flee. Others fired blindly. Their precision lost. All ships, Jun called to the fleet. Attack now. Focus on the escort vessels. The Guardian fleet surged forward. Their weapons, still enhanced by the Phoenix's technology, tore through the enemy formation. One by one, the Void Shaper ships fell or retreated. Finally, only the powerless Dreadnought remained. We did it, Hana whispered. On the main screen, a new signal appeared. Federation ships, dozens of them, led by 3 massive cruisers. They finally decided to join the fight, Ta said with a bitter laugh. Now that it's over. The Federation fleet surrounded the Dreadnought. A message came through. This is High Admiral Vorn of the Federation Defense Force. We claim this enemy vessel by right of conquest. All civilian ships are ordered to withdraw. Jun looked at his tired crew. He felt the Phoenix through the neural link. The ship had given everything, revealed its final secrets, all to protect humans, to fulfill its creator's last wish. What do we do, Captain? Minho asked. Jun smiled. We go home. Our job here is done. As they turned away from the captured Dreadnought, Hana checked the ship's systems. The Phoenix shared all its data with the Federation ships. They know the truth about the Void Shapers now. Will they use it wisely? Ta wondered. That's their choice to make, Jun replied. We've done our part. The Phoenix rejoined the Guardian fleet. Together, they set course for Freedom Station. In his quarters that night, Jun stood by a small window. He held a simple metal sphere, the only piece of the ship he had kept from that first day at the auction. When held up to light, it showed stars, galaxies, worlds beyond counting, a gift from a civilization long gone, a reminder that value can be found in the most unexpected places, that what some call junk might just save the universe. June placed the sphere carefully on a shelf. Outside his window, the Guardian fleet traveled together through the stars. Many were still barely more than cargo ships or mining vessels. None could match the Phoenix. But they had done the impossible. They had stood against the darkness, together. And they would do so again, if needed. That was what humans did. They adapted. They fought. They turned junk into treasures. That was why the architects had chosen them. Captain to the bridge, Tay's voice came through the intercom. "We're receiving calls for help from the Reichel sector." June smiled. The journey wasn't over. It was just beginning. "On my way," he replied.